welcome back, family. Today we are going to be doing another simple, easy recipe. We're going to be doing some garlic pork chops with some chimichurri sauce. But this is what we're going to do first. I need you to subscribe if you haven't. I need you to hit that likes if you have. And let this thing happen with Cooking with Pals. Don't forget, Cooking with Pals. Love you, boo-boo. Here we are, family. Here are the ingredients in which we're going to need. Right? Quite simple. We're going to make it fun. We're going to make it easy. And we're going to simplify life as possible. But before we go into the pork chops, we're going to be doing our chimichurri first. And what we need is some parsley. Got it. Some cilantro. Got it. I am choosing to use a little bit of some hot peppers. I got a whole onion, right? We're going to use some chili peppers, touch of salt, olive oil, some red wine, and some apple cider vinegar, right? What we're creating is a bit of a zing, not too overpowering, and it is going to be perfect. Along with this, we're going to be mixing up some garlic, and we're going to add this all together, right? So it's this parsley, cilantro, minced garlic, minced onion, the peppers, and the flavor just sort of blend together. Wait for it. We're going to be making our chimichurri sauce, right? So first thing first, we're having some parsley and cilantro. I'm going to use a cup of parsley, 2 cups of cilantro. I'm going to be using some onions, right? We're going to use about quarter or half of the onions. Depends on how I mix it and with the flavor that I'm looking for. But I'm going to use, this is a medium onion. I'm going to use about half of that. 2 tablespoons of garlic. I'm going to use about a half teaspoon of salt. Again, to flavor the taste, right? We're going to use some red peppers. I'm going to use a half teaspoon of the red peppers. And I'm going with half teaspoon of the red peppers because I'm also adding some of the habanero peppers from the backyard, right? We're going to use some olive oil. Now I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And all of that is all depending on when I chop this up, how fine it's chopped, and the texture and the blend that we're seeking, right? Along with that, we have some vinegar. And I'm using some apple cider vinegar. And some red wine to add with that. With this whole combination, it's going to create an excitement of flavors, right? So this is what we're doing. This is what we're working with. Cooking with Pals. Love you, boo-boo. Driven to, and yes, I'm not looking up at the camera right now because I want to keep all of these fingers intact, right? But there's some things that sort of eating away at me for a second. And I've been wanting to reach out to my YouTube, my social media family, and take your opinion on some things, right? We often have what we call dream crushes in life. There's always going to be someone, somewhere, who's going to tell you, you shouldn't do this, or you should do that, or, you know, their opinion of how you should live, what is best for you. So here's my dilemma. If you follow what everyone says, do you ever get where you want to be? Here's another thought process, and these are mind jerkers. Are you pleasing everyone, or are you doing you? In this life that we live, you only have one life to live. Why not just do you? And for all of whoever wants to tell you how you should, what you should, question is, who told them they should or shouldn't? Right? And how much of that did they listen to along the way in life as they do them? It's almost like vicariously folks choose to impose themselves on the life you want to live to determine what they think is best for you. Interesting. And we wonder why we have kids in depression, folks who don't know what direction they're going, because there's always someone who wants to choose to tell you how you should, what you should, what you shouldn't. The last time taking constructive criticisms are good, You learn from those. But then you have the diehards who almost like a prison system. You should wake up at this hour. You should move at this hour. You should eat at this hour. You shouldn't eat at this hour. So as I go through this journey, new chapter in my life, I find that you have dream crushers in life. You know, it's the ones who aren't doing anything with theirs, who insist on telling you what to do with yours, but yet theirs are not together. When I say not together, just not together. And it leaves you in this place of, if you had it all together, why are you having so many issues? Why are you having so many problems? And problems are unavoidable. I tell folks that having problems is like having rain at times. It pours, you put your umbrella out, shelter from the rain. But when the sun comes out, you smile again and put it away. Such is life. You're going to have good and bad days. You're going to have dream crushes, but you never have those dream crushes be your nightmare. You keep going, you keep doing it, you keep loving you, and you keep having fun with you. Right, don't forget. And I'm using my 2 cups of cilantro, finely chopped. Right? I'm going to dump them in together. Right? My onions, honey. I went ahead and got half of that onion, finely chopped as well. Bam, 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 bam. My garlic, 2 tablespoons of garlic. There it is. I'm going to mince this pepper up, as I said before, seeds included. Right? It's just a quarter of a pepper left. And because I want that extra kick. Optional, do not have it if you don't handle the heat, right? So I'm going to do that. Woo, I'm telling you. You can smell this kind of heat coming from this. This is not the jalapeno. This is habanero, right? Drop that in there. Now, I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of red wine along with the vinegar. Oops. Whew. Sorry. Mincing that onion did it for me. So there we go. I have my vinegar, 2 tablespoons of vinegar, and my red wine. Got that in there. Now, olive oil. I'm going to use a cup of this olive oil because the idea with the chimichurri is not to necessarily make it liquefied. However, it is getting all of these blends of herbs all in together, right? I'm cleaning all the rest of my cilantro and parsley, and you'll find that a bunch of each herb is just enough to get to where we need. Look at those together, right? And I'm going to use 2 tablespoons half a teaspoon. I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of the crushed red pepper. Now again, if I want it spicier, I will. However, because I know I've already added that pepper in there, I'm not going to do any more. Right? I'm going to add some salt to this. I'm going to use a tablespoon of salt to that. So I have my garlic in here. I have my peppers in here. I have my cilantro in here. I have my onions in here. Crushed chili red pepper flakes in there. Right? The olive oil, the vinegar. Or if you don't want to use red wine, you can use red wine vinegar. Or just vinegar and some lime juice as well. It helps with the tang of the cilantro. And now I'm gonna, can actually taste this. This is a fresh herb. It can be eaten just as it is. The parsley, the cilantro, and cilantro and the parsley, which is another form of diuretic. It's good to help with urine problems. But it's good stuff. So while this is now going to sit aside, right? And while the reason why we're going to sit it aside, we're going to allow this to infuse each other, the blends come together, so that when your pork chop is now ready, this thing just wakes it all up in a whole. We now have our pork chop. We already have our chimichurri set aside, and we are doing our pork chops. This is about a pound and a half of pork chops, right? I've already cleaned them, washed them down with some lime juice, and they're ready to go. I'm gonna pour on here. And yes, you might want, well, how do you know measurements? After you do this for a while, you sort of know your measurements, right? So about 2 tablespoons of olive oil that I poured on here. I have the anti-piece blend of my pork seasoning. I'm going to put that on there. I have 2 tablespoons of it. I also have some all-purpose seasoning and a 1/4 teaspoon of crushed black pepper, right? Now, I use the olive oil to sort of put it on there, sprinkling it all over, right? I want each piece to have blend on there, right? So I'm gonna put that on just like that, turn it over and do it again, right? Want each pork chop to have a perfect seasoning all up in there, right? Get it, get it, get it, get it. Now, while this is sitting so that the seasoning gets in there, look at that, look at that, look at that. I am then going to turn around and get my pot nice and toasty with my blend of seasoning there, right? Look at that perfect color, huh? Look at that perfecto color. I'm going to have that sitting for a few minutes while I get my pot together. And we're gonna cook this bad boy up. Don't forget, folks, subscribe, Cooking with Pals. This is where we do fun and exciting stuff. We try to make it happen. We talk about some stuff. We're gonna provoke some nerve while we talk about some things, while we get some feeling to some things. But eat away at it, huh? That's what oil is nice and toasty. I put about 3 tablespoons of oil in there, right? Because keep in mind that this pork still has a few pieces of fat trimming around it, right? Gonna drop those pork chops right in there. This whole thing should take about 15 minutes or so to get properly cooked. And of course, if you're one who don't know the temperature on your pork or any meat, with the exception of beef, internally should be 165 degrees, right? So I'm putting those in there. Want them nicely, a nice coat, a nice crisp coat on each side. Gonna let it sit for about 5 minutes. Turn it over, ensure that it's properly cooked, and then we come back with the finished product, right? Enjoy Cooking with Pals. Love you, boo-boo. Now, I actually had it covered for about 5 minutes. So I allowed it to get each turn 5 minutes on each side, right? And then I covered it nicely. And then I also turn around and add just a quarter, maybe 1/3 of a cup of water, just to ensure that all of the seasoning doesn't stick at the bottom, and it also helps to caramelize and tenderize the pork chops, right? So that's it. We're all done. Look at that beautiful cracked pepper pork chops. Look at it. Now, remember that chimichurri, right? This is the chimichurri. It's being refrigerated. You can leave it at room temperature you're gonna serve it. But let's add some cool to this heat, right? Just sort of. Look at that. Look at that. Magnificent. Beautiful. Subscribe to it. I know you can taste it. I know you can taste it. I know you can taste it. Oh, wee! Beautiful. Work of art. Don't forget, do you, love you, boo boo. Now, family, I know without tender this actually can taste. I can taste it before even having it while my mouth salivates. Now look at this. Perfectly the next white meat. 165 degrees temp. And then you top it off with just a touch of this chimichurri to each bite. Look at it. I know you can taste it. Oh my goodness. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Absolutely. To die for. Again, do you. Don't let nobody stop you from fulfilling yours. It's only yours to fulfill. Delish. Simply delish.